The stories I know are of people who didn't follow procedure, or they crawled into a machine without locking it out and then it turned on while they were in it. So it is a very safe industry because OSHA has us put guards on anything. Like if you can stand next to it and reach into it, it's got a guard on it.
Most people think manufacturing's dirty, boring, or dying. They're dead wrong. This is Manufacturing Runs the World. We're here to fix the misconceptions, teaching the next generation how modern manufacturing really works and why it matters more than ever.
I've done a little bit of research, but maybe one of you want to tell me a little bit about the company?
Sure. We are a sawmill equipment manufacturer and engineering consulting company. Started in 2005. We do log handling and lumber handling systems in wood processing manufacturing facilities. Do a lot of conveyors and saws and lots of different things within the production line at a sawmill, from log to a board. So everything in between.
Yeah, and how'd that come about? Because Anthony, looking back at your experience, I think you even had some video production in there for a while.
Yeah.
And then it looks like you're more on the financial side. So how did you get involved with Reiter Tech?
So my dad is David Reiter. He was a project engineer at a big OEM starting in the late 1980s here in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Cool. And what happened was they grew that OEM pretty big, him and a bunch of different guys working for a core management team. And then they sold the company to a Canadian group with some private equity backing, I believe. And then after that, the company got bought, and then it shrunk a lot in Hot Springs. And so a lot of the engineering jobs were taken away from that group. And so at that time, a bunch of different people actually started different companies just because most of the engineering jobs were actually taken across the border to Canada. So the project engineers that were left, a lot of them ended up having to start their own organizations or go to different industries. So that happened. I believe he started in 2005 out on his own doing consulting projects in coordination with the people he used to work for. In the mid 2010s, I think it was like 2016, we started to build a lot more equipment. We had always done little parts and stuff here and there, but it was by that time we really became like an equipment manufacturer.
Cool. Who are your main clients then?
So a lot of them are independent sawmills. And by independent, I mean companies that are not like on the New York Stock Exchange. We do some with like Weyerhaeuser and Georgia Pacific, but it's a lot of companies that are owned by families or just privately owned by a group of investors, maybe. A lot of them maybe own 1, 2, or 3 mills at the most. And that's just who we've gotten to make connections with over the years. It's not really for one reason or another.
And then Matt, what's your role at the company?
I'm a project engineer. So when we sell the jobs to the sawmills, we'll normally sell a line of equipment or 1 unit, 2 units. So it comes back to me as here's what we sold and here's what's there already. Or sometimes it'll be a greenfield project and they've just got an open concrete pad and say, hey, we're putting a new line in here. And then it falls on me and the other project engineers to come up with the layout. So here's what we sold. Here's what they bought from other people. And then we put everything in the right spot and make sure everything's going to go together well. And then in the even finer details, I'll even design the machines themselves. Cool. So once it's figured out where everything's going to go, where every input or output is going to be, then we go to the detail work and down to the last hex nut. So I'll design the machines that are at least allocated to me, and the other engineers will design the machines to them, and then we all put it together into the line.
And is it other just project engineers like you, or kind of making the integration happen, or is it a team of engineers? Do you have some people under you?
I do not have anyone under me, no. We do have draftsmen who will take a unit and detail it, and we have our chief engineer who does design the line, and then he'll give different parts of it to us, and then I'll get a list of here's the machines you're responsible for and where they go, and here's the layouts, and make it work.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Matt does really well with the R&D type of stuff. I believe it was 2 years ago when we did the board feeder that we have patent pending. So pretty much we had a design, like a verbal concept given to the customer, and then Matt's really good at doing this. We turned around a whole new design that we ended up filing a patent application like right then and there. We've really gotten to be good at that since we've had Matt. He's been really helpful with that. So really working on growing our R&D side, just kind of get a competitive edge on everybody else the best we can and just constantly improve.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't think about the sawmill industry in great detail, but looking at machinery on your website, there's a ton of automation and like giant machines that have to move and manipulate giant logs. What kind of new technology and with automation coming around and everything, is that kind of trickling down to your industry as well?
I think Matt would know more about that than I would as far as the newest stuff.
You mean newer innovations coming to sawmills?
Yeah, like AI or the various models.
There are some companies right now that are using AI in their optimizers. Basically, an optimizer's got a bunch of scanner heads on it, and it'll either a log will go through it or a board will go through it, depending on wherever it is, and it'll read the grain or the knots or find imperfections in the board, and then it'll tell machines down the line where to cut it. And now some are using AI to help it learn better, to learn to cut. That's the only really big innovation I've thought of. Robot arms, they don't see a lot of use in our industry, but there have been some niche applications. The main problem with robot arms is they don't move fast enough.
Right.
At least that I see. Yeah. They can't process through boards as quick as the lines can. There are some low speed applications in which I've heard of them be considered. I haven't seen anyone do it yet, but they'll be able to pick boards off of a slow moving turntable and sort them that way.
Yeah.
A bunch more reject boards and such.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We sometimes see things in innovation like that. The biggest thing's been AI and optimizers, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think AI in every field in the world right now is like changing everything. So that's like my best employee right now is just ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's ChatGPT hasn't learned how to do our stuff very well yet. Maybe eventually you'll be able to give it a drawing and it'll make it for you. But as of now, we really like having real people do it the best we can.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, I forget how you just explained it, but where it identifies the wood grain and it decides where to make the cuts. That was previously a person making those decisions.
Yes, you can have board graders and they would mark with paint what grade a board was, whatever, but used to it was just a program. The program would see what the scanner heads would come up with, and then it would send the trimmer or the bucking saw solution just based off of known parameters.
And how long have you guys been in this industry? Because you both look pretty young.
I've been in it for a little over 4 years now.
I've been in it a little bit over 3. And on our staff, we have a very experienced staff. Like my dad, he has over 35 now years of experience. It might be 37 now that I remember. And then our chief engineer, I think he has 35 now. And then we've got a couple other guys on staff who are at least 30 years in the space. And then we have our project engineers. We have Matt and Ben and Josh, and they've been around. Like Matt and Ben have been here 4 years, and then Josh like 10. So we have a lot of experience here in the office. Our purchasing agent, he worked for a parts distributor, and so he heads up our parts sales side because he knows how to source stuff at a cost-effective rate and then resell it to our customers. Doing all we can to keep people moving along with structuring capital projects. Sometimes there's something they just really need. And so we're an effective source at doing that, at getting them the stuff they need to stay up and going.
What is the craziest story you've heard in your industry, either that you've experienced yourself or that you've heard secondhand from the elders?
Oh, Matt would have some good ones, I'm sure.
We've made some interesting machines. I know that kind of one-off. Like you get the bid, you get the job. No one's ever done it before. No one's going to do it again. I'm thinking of that. Anthony will know, our rotary board turner.
Is that a scenario where like a robot arm would help, or is that a scenario where some automation, we could throw a bot in there and save a couple lives or limbs?
Well, right now, the way regulations are and the way things are guarded and maintained, as long as people don't break the rules, you don't really get very many workplaces. It's a very safe workplace as long as you stay in your. The stories I know are of people who didn't follow procedure, or they crawled into a machine without locking it out and then it turned on while they were in it. It is a very safe industry because OSHA has us put guards on anything. Like if you can stand next to it and reach into it, it's got a guard on it. We guard all our moving parts on the outside or anything that can be reasonably gotten into. Of course, anyone can climb over a yellow gate and then get inside it. So we go to great lengths to make sure that everything is guarded and so we don't hurt anybody.